On behalf of the City of Beechwood and Honorable Mayor Merle Gordon, the Community Service Director, the Police, the Service Department, and John Carroll University, I'm Rosemary Nemeth from the Beechwood Historical Society. We want to welcome all of you to our special ceremony. We want to remember all the veterans. This cemetery is a home to 40 different veterans going all the way back to the Revolutionary War. There are 7 wars represented in this cemetery. We have 4 special veterans that are here today to share their stories with all of us. We want to thank all of the veterans from yesterday, today, and tomorrow's veterans. In the words of Kelly Strong, a poet, freedom is not free. I watched the flag pass by one day. It fluttered in the breeze. A young Marine saluted it, and then he stood at ease. I thought how many men and women like him had fallen through the years. How many died on foreign soil, how many mothers' tears. I wondered just how many times that taps had meant amen when a flag had draped a coffin of a brother or a friend. Of unmarked graves in Arlington, of those in the Beechwood Cemetery, no, we know freedom isn't free. We thank all the veterans, and we want to honor them today and celebrate their lives. I would like to introduce Mayor Merle Gordon.
Thank you, Rose. Good morning, everybody. It's with great honor and respect that I am here this morning to recognize our armed forces and everybody who has helped build this nation into what it is today and will continue to do that in the future. I not only am proud to be here this morning, but I was proud to represent Beechwood yesterday in the city of Shaker Heights, where the postal authorities asked me to participate in their Veterans Day ceremony at the post office. It was well attended by many Shaker Heights residents and all of the postal workers within the city of Shaker Heights. And I was very proud to represent this community, our residents, and the people that stand for what our principles are today. We're very fortunate to have many people here today, not only just local officials, but state officials, residents from other communities, and vets not only from Beechwood, but from around the state. And in the past, as today, they come from very wide areas and ranges of locations. So we're very proud that you would take the time on this special day to celebrate this and honor those who are deserving. Today you will see something different. You will see some placards that are around the cemetery. There's a group of individuals that put that together, dedicated volunteers who want to help preserve not only their memories, but set what we need to do for the future. Without further comment this morning, I would like to just take this opportunity, since it's nice and brisk, and I know I probably won't fall asleep this morning by standing here in front of you. So I thank for the nice, cool weather. I'd like to proclaim Sunday, November 10th, 2013, as Beechwood Historical Society, a salute to Veterans Day in the city of Beechwood. Whereas we, the city of Beechwood, its residents and families, owe our casualties of war and their families and loved ones the duty to be remembered and to be memorialized. And so we do remember and salute those who have served our country. And whereas the Beechwood Historical Society has put forth much effort and research in discovering, listing, and marking the graves of our veterans in the Beechwood Cemetery, so that those who are buried here may be honored today and in the future. Whereas the Beechwood Historical Society is deserving of praise of their efforts in helping us discover and remember those in the past Beechwood residents and to people who are buried here. Whereas all veterans, those still living and those who have passed on, deserve our thanks, our heartfelt gratitude for serving, protecting our individual freedoms. Therefore, here and now, we acknowledge the importance of their sacrifices. Now therefore do we, Mayor Merle S. Gordon, hereby proclaim Sunday, November 10th, 2013, as Beechwood Historical Society Day, and salute veterans from all around the world. in the city of Beechwood and ask all citizens to join us in thanking the Beechwood Historical Society for their help in discovering and remembering our veterans. Will Fred Eisenstadt please come up? Fred, it's with deep pleasure that I have you here next to me, and you and I would like to call up Rosemary. I'd like to give Rosemary the proclamation. Not trying to fumble around, but it's a little chilly this morning. For the proclamation that your government has put forth by myself and members of the Beechwood City Council and the residents of Beechwood. We want to thank you, honor you, and honor everybody who is here today. Thank you for what you have done in the past and what you will do in the future. Rosemary, you're a special lady, and we honor you and your team that put this together today. You did it selflessly. Thank you. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Fred Eisenstadt, World War II veteran. Fred, I'll hold this if you don't mind.
Okay. I volunteered for the United States Navy Officer Training Program in 1941 and was given a delay to active service until 1942 in order to graduate from Adelbert College at Western Reserve University. Went to officer training school in Chicago. First, I served as a communication officer on the staff of 3rd Fleet on the East Coast. I learned to use and break communication codes, which Navy officers were required to learn. After being transferred to California, I was then assigned to go overseas to the South Pacific island of Guadalcanal to serve on the staff of Admiral Gunther of the 6th Fleet. I spent 3 years in the Navy, starting at age 21. 18 months were on Guadalcanal Island in the South Pacific. The Japanese had been conquered on the island, but there were offshore attacks periodically by Japanese ships and aircraft. I was lucky to survive the Second World War. If I had a choice between brains and luck, I guess I chose luck. I made many good Navy buddy friends, some of whom had never seen a Jew before. We kept in touch for many years, but most are gone now. After surviving 3 years in the Navy, I said I would never stand in line for anything. I was sure wrong on that one.
You also did have good looks. You forgot to mention that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. And also, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. The next gentleman coming up is Bert Siebert from the Cold War. Kind of goes like today, too, with the weather.
Good morning. I'm Bert Siebert. I served as captain in the Air Force. If you go down to the Air Force Museum, in Dayton, you'll see the exhibits there categorized by the period of history or the event that happened. My term of service was the Cold War. I was stationed at Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho, the 9th Bomb Wing of the Strategic Air Command. I was responsible for 1/3 of a fleet of B-47s loaded with thermonuclear weapons that flew airborne missions over the North Pole. This was a deterrent from our Cold War enemies. The Strategic Air Command's mission was, peace is our profession. They determined that we should be able to operate from a remote base if something happened to our base. This term of service took me from Idaho to the sunny island of Guam. Thank you very much for being here today.
Bird. The next veteran is Tom Cuskin, Vietnam War.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. I joined the Marine Corps in 1964, 3 weeks after I graduated from high school. Just an 18-year-old kid going into the service. After boot camp, Parris Island, I went to California with the 1st Recon Battalion, 1st Marine Division, and we were getting ready to ship over to Okinawa for more training before we went to Vietnam. Before I was over there, when I was in California, my brother drowned. And it was pretty rough for my boss. And it was pretty rough for my parents and everything to deal with me going overseas. I was in Okinawa when I was going to Vietnam. I never told my mom I was going there. I lost some friends there. It was pretty rough to deal with some of the stuff, even with the guys that came home. Some of them had died after they came home from Agent Orange disease, where just tore their skin up and everything, and it's I'm going to be ending soon here because it's hard for me to talk right now when I think of things that had happened to special friends of mine and everything. I want to thank everybody for coming today, and I would like to also a couple of gentlemen from the Army that had just showed up a little bit, who are fighting now today, and I'm sure things aren't any better overseas for them to leave their families and everything, and hopefully they all return safe. Thank you very much.
I'd like to introduce Steve, also from the Vietnam War.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming. Thank you particularly to the families and to the loved ones who also sacrificed over the years. When I think of my service in Vietnam, I was a young man drafted out of college because I didn't attend any of the classes like a lot of guys. But once you get into the service, you learn there is no quit. There's a way of going. And the way of going for me was in May of 1970, Cambodia. As you all know, you remember what happened here back on the campuses of this country, particularly down the road at Kent State. When we were in the jungles that day, 25 of us went in, 5 of us came out. On the chopper that afternoon, wounded were going back to the hospital, but they were dying. One in particular was my RTO, and he had a newspaper. In that newspaper was the Stars and Stripes. Of course, it was a day later, listing what had happened at Kent State with that famous picture of Jeffrey Miller laying on the ground in the underworld, with hands raised. And then the next paragraph, as I'm on that chopper in that battle, is the name of my high school neighbor, Allison Krause. We sang together in choir, we made music, we laughed, and if any of you have never been there, that connection, that memory, that pain, that unbelievable desire for life's gift and life's feast is what drives me today and drives every veteran and every family. And I hope and pray that we can all understand that gift, that you can never separate the quality of your being from the quality of your doing, so it's always equal to the quality of your loving. Every Vietnam vet, every Korean vet, every Afghani, Iraqi vet that's standing here, every World War II, World War I vet that has any family member, believe that, know that their sacrifice was never in vain, and that everybody counts. Every day counts, because we do the gardening, and when you do the gardening, you do the weeding, but you gotta do it. You can't stop. That's what made me look into that abyss that moment, that afternoon. I saw Crazy Horse's dream come to fruition. He saw the world in conflagration. He understood it 2 days before Little Bighorn, and he saw that one day we're going to get there. And if you don't live a life of peaceful determination, you just have to be strong and try to be strong and find those who can be strong to help you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Joy. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber ways of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shore.